young single mother with everything to live for is found dead. A case filled with mystery, love, and a killer that almost got away with it. Crimes that WTF me, guys. Here we go. On December 8, 2016 at 1:51 a.m., 911 receives a frantic phone call. The caller identifies himself as Aaron Toller. The Anderson Police Department arrive at the scene. Aaron leads the officers to a bedroom where they found the body of Lindsay. She's laying on the edge of the bed closest to the door. There's an obvious bullet wound to her temple with blood everywhere. Her left hand was positioned as if she had pulled the trigger with her index finger. There were several pills on the floor near the bed. There was a torn up letter laying with the pills. Police take Aaron, who is Lindsay's fiance. He claims they have been fighting a lot lately and that she's been depressed and suicidal. The bickering came to a point where he needed space, so he's been staying with a coworker. That night, Lindsay drove over to the coworker's house. They got into a huge argument. Lindsay went home, and that's when she took her life. So at the beginning, police are thinking this was a suicide. Aaron told detectives that he went over to Lindsay's house just to check on her because he was worried. That's when he found her and immediately called 911. Then he called Lindsay's mother, Jennifer, who rushed right over. When she got there, the police were already on scene. She asked officers if she was okay and can she see her baby. The officer said no. Jennifer becomes concerned about her 8-year-old granddaughter, Serenity. The officers let Aaron take her out of the house and away from the tragic scene. Officers collected some evidence from the bedroom, like a 9mm spent shell on the floor in the bedroom. But one thing they can't find is the gun, especially the way her hand was. The gun should be close by her. The way she was positioned, the gun should be under her, but when they moved her body, still no gun. So police are like, wait a minute, like, there should be a gun. Police start digging into Lindsay's life to determine if she did unalive herself or was it something more sinister. Police start looking into his story and their relationship. Aaron is taken to the station for questioning. Lindsay and Aaron met in 2015 where they both worked. They both loved the outdoors, hiking, horseback, etc. In September of 2016, Lindsay and Aaron got engaged. Her family would say that Aaron was kind and good to Lindsay and her daughter, Serenity. Serenity was born July 4th, 2008. Lindsay was a wonderful mother, and Serenity was her entire freaking world. You know, she met a man and she was ready to settle down. Back at the station, Aaron explains again that the two had an argument and at the co-worker's house, Lindsay left and went back home, and Aaron eventually followed her there. Investigators ask Aaron, where's the gun? He says, I don't know. I didn't see one. Aaron tells investigators that he purchased a gun for Lindsay for protection. Aaron claims he hid the gun in the tree line just north of the residence because he was worried about Lindsay hurting herself. Since he claims he hid the gun there, investigators immediately inform officers at the scene, and they find the gun. Officers immediately send that gun to the lab to test it and see if it's the same gun that involves Lindsay. At some point, they realize that that gun was not the same gun that killed Lindsay. That makes investigators like, where's the gun that got Lindsay? There were a lot of letters. It took detectives a while to piece them together. And Aaron would provide a motive and say it was Sean Hudson. So detectives look into that and found that Sean was actually in prison at the time of Lindsay's death. Aaron claims that, Sean could have ordered a hit on Lindsay. Sean and Lindsay would write letters back and forth, and Sean was trying to save the relationship, and Lindsay wrote him back and communicated with him, but hid that from Aaron. It's determined between October 1st and December 5th, 2016, Lindsay and Sean exchanged over 50 emails. They were planning on getting back together once he got out of prison. This was all going on behind Aaron's back. But also the letters were showing that Sean was asking for money, so he didn't have the means to do a hit. There was no evidence leading to Sean, so he's eliminated as a suspect. So officers look at her case again to see what they missed. Remember, Aaron has been staying with a coworker. They had an argument that night. So they look at Lindsay's text messages. Her text showed that she was concerned Aaron was going to leave her, but it turns out that the weeks leading to her death, Lindsay and Aaron's relationship was on the rocks. So he moved into a coworker's house, Monica Dorsey. Lindsay believed that they were having an affair together, and Lindsay's sister, Haley, worked at Logan's Roadhouse, and she would watch Monica and Aaron and report all that back to Lindsay. So they bring Monica in and question her. They ask her about Aaron, what kind of relationship they have. She says they are dating, but it's not official. So they ask her about Lindsay. She claims Lindsay has been stalking them. So they ask her the night of Lindsay's death. Monica remembers that she, told the same story Aaron did. She came over, Aaron went and talked to her, and then Aaron left. They ask Aaron to take a voice stress test, and he does. Two crucial questions showed deception, like, did you kill Lindsay? And those kind of questions. He presses Aaron to tell the truth. The two questions: you were present when Lindsay was shot, and did you shoot her, were the two questions. Faced with the evidence of his lies, Aaron's story changes once again. There were several stories he had told about that night. This one places him inside the home where she was shot. Then he reveals another stunning detail. Aaron said there was another gun involved. Remember, he led detectives to the other gun? The one found in the yard was not the murder weapon. Aaron claims that after he heard the gunshot, he panicked and grabbed the gun that was still in the house. He ran down the street and dumped the weapon in a nearby field, so officers are searching for the weapon. Eventually, Aaron crumbles under pressure and tells police he bought the gun. A few days prior to her murder, police recovered the second gun in a field behind the liquor store. It was sent to Indiana Police Lab for testing, which it was the murder weapon. That just shows Aaron is now a suspect. On December 9, 2016, prosecutors are preparing to formally charge Aaron Toller with murder, but the autopsy of Lindsay proved to be suicide. And so Madison County has a hill to climb with that. They've never prosecuted anybody with a body being ruled suicide. Fortunately, a detective dug into Aaron's past and made a huge discovery. Aaron Toller had restraining orders from past relationships. They were pretty fierce with violent allegations. The detective immediately contacted the chief deputy prosecutor and gave his opinion on everything that was gathered, that he strongly believed it was a homicide. After receiving all of the facts, the lack of a gun being present at the scene, and her daughter in the house, they decided to go forward with the murder charges. On December 14, 2016, the day of the funeral, Aaron was charged with murder. And like I said, the prosecutors had a heel and a battle. But they put the pathologist on the stand and asked him if he knew that the gun was missing and Aaron had changed his story so many times, if he would change his mind on the suicide. And he said yes, he'd change it to undetermined. And while Aaron was locked up, he had told other inmates that he had shot Lindsay, and those two inmates came forward with the stories being so similar that, and those two inmates came forward. And also when Monica came to visit him in jail, as she was leaving, all the guys were checking her out like, damn. And Aaron's like, yeah, I killed for her. So the jury deliberated for 2 hours and came back with a guilty plea, and Aaron got 70 years to life in prison. So she's a beautiful lady that didn't deserve to die. So sad. My heart goes out to her daughter and her family. Yeah, that's the crime that literally WTF me. And have a good night. Be safe to everybody. Be kind to everybody and be safe. Have a good night. Until next time.